Welcome back to Puddinwood Avenue. My name is Bindi. So today is day number 5 of Podcaster Spirit Week. So today is all about your favourite colour. Guess what mine is? If you've been around my channel any length of time, you'll know that my favourite colour is purple. So as you can see up here, all my coffee cups are purple. This is my latest coffee cup. I love it. My favourite hook is purple. My favourite yarn to work with is purple. So today we're going to work with some purple yarn. So if you're not sure about what's going on, this is Podcaster Spirit Week. So a whole group of crochet and other craft, I think, podcasters on YouTube are getting together and doing a little bit of silly stuff for the week and sharing with each other. And today is, like I said, day number 5 is today's favourite colour day. So we started with Sunday, that was hat day, Monday was pyjama day, Tuesday was crazy hair day, yesterday, Wednesday was ugly shirt day, today is favourite colour day. We've got 2 more days to go. We'll see how we go. Last day, I'm not sure if I can pull it off, but we'll see. Okay, so today we're going to have a look at a stitch called the shell and bridge stitch. I've just completed a blanket for my daughter using this stitch in like a chenille yarn, and it is so soft and squishy. It's great because the edges, the way we work it up, the edges are absolutely straight. The top has a nice scallop edge and the bottom of the blanket is flat, so you don't actually have to go and do a border. So let's go down to the table. I'm really excited to work with this yarn. I've never worked with it before. It's a new one from Hobby. And so we'll go down and we'll have a look at how to do this shell and bridge stitch. Okay, so to do this shell and bridge stitch, today we're going to use the Glitter Delight. It's a relatively new yarn that's coming from Hobby, Hobbii, and they're an online website from Denmark. They have the most amazing range of yarn. Everything I've used is good quality and I've loved everything I've bought so far. They are a little on the expensive side, but the good thing is they have lots of sales. So let's have a look at the yarn to start with. It's 50% acrylic, 49% cotton and 1% polyester, which is what the sparkle is. It's recommending using a 6mm hook, but because it's favourite colour day and my favourite colour is purple and this is my favourite hook, it's an it's a 5.5, it will work. It will just make it a little bit denser. It's a size 5 or bulky yarn. In Australia, that's a 12 ply. You can wash it in 30 degrees. I'm fairly no tumble dry, and there's a little QR code there. I've never done that. I've never seen this on a hobby yarn before. We might play with that later. Okay, it is made in Turkey, so anything made in Turkey is always amazing. Alright, so let's take that tag off. Let's find the end of our yarn. This yarn is kind of interesting because it's held together. So it's kind of a roving yarn, but it's held together by the way that the polyester, the sparkle, is actually, can you see that, is holding it together. So I'm just going to tie a knot in the end of it and we're just going to start from there. So this is a 2-row repeat, this shell and bridge stitch. It's 2-row repeat and they come in sections of 6 stitches. So I'll show you what that means in a moment. So because they're worked up in sections of 6, the multiple is 6 plus 2 for turning. So what that means is you can make it as big or as small as you want, as long as there's multiple of 6 plus 2 at the end. So for this sample, I'm going to do chain 18. So I'm going to start with a slip knot. Have it a moment, couldn't even remember how to do that. So I'm going to start with a slip knot. And I'm going to chain 18 to start with, plus 2 on the end. So I'll come back when I've done that. Okay, so that's my 18 chain, and I'm going to do 2 extras. Okay, so into the second chain, so we never count the loop on our hook. That's not counted as a stitch. So this one, and we're going to go into here. Into here, we are going to do a single crochet. So yarn through the stitch, capture yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through both loops on the hook. So that's a single crochet. So usually we do single crochet all along the pattern, the chain, to get that foundation, but we're going to jump straight in and start our pattern straight away. So what we're going to do now is we're going to skip 2. So we've done our, this is the stitch we've worked into, we're going to skip 2, skip, and we're going to do a double crochet into the next stitch, and this is going to be the start of the first shell. So into that same stitch, we're going to do 5 more double crochets. So there's going to be 6 altogether in that same stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I did do that quite quickly. If you're not sure how to do a double crochet, have a look in my playlist, and there is a tutorial on how to do a double crochet. Okay, so that's going to leave a big gap, but that's okay. As we work through, that gap will become smaller. Okay, so we've done our first shell stitch, shell cluster if you like. So we're going to now skip 2. Make sure you count this one here, so 1. So there's 1, there's 2, and we're going to do a single crochet into that next stitch. It's a bit curly, winky, wonky to start with, but once we get going, it's going to flatten out. Okay, so we're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and into that third stitch, so there's 1, there's 2, into the third stitch, we're going to do another shell. So we're going to do 6 double crochet into this stitch. So 1, 2, 3. This yarn is very squishy. I like it. It's a bit splitty. 4, 5, and 6. Now sometimes this chain here, and especially in rows up further, this chain here will be hidden. So we need to make sure that we're counting that. So we're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and in the next one we're going to do a single crochet. So we've now done our 2 shells. We're going to skip 2, 1. It's hard to see with that thing with the gold running through it. So 1 and 2, and in the third one we're going to do another shell. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey Lula girl. 5 and 6. 1, 2. So we've got 3 stitches left. So we're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and in that last shell, in that last stitch, we're going to finish with a single crochet. Now again, you can make this as long as you want. I'm just doing a sample here to show you what it looks like. So these will be our shells. This will be the bottom row, obviously. And so our bottom will be flat. Our top will have the nice shell. So you can tell the top and the bottom of your blanket. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're now going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, don't split. Turn our work. We're going to skip this very first stitch here, and we're going to do 3 double crochets up to the top of our shell. So yarn over, skip this first one, go into this one here, and we do 1 double crochet, we do a double crochet into the next stitch, 2 up the side of our shell, and 3, we're now at the top of our shell. So we've done 3 double crochets. Again, I've done a bit splitting this yarn a little bit, sorry yarn. And I'm going to single crochet at the top. This is where we're going to work our shell into the next round. Oh, do you know what I haven't done? Take that back. So that's exactly what we're going to do, but I forgot the very important step that gives us this texture. We're actually going to work into the back loops of this stitch. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, so we're going to work into the back loops. So yarn over into the back loop of that stitch. That's where we're going to do our double crochet. So 1 into the back loop of the next stitch, 2 and back loop into that 3rd stitch, and that's where we're going to get our ridge on the front of our work. Chain 1, we're going to double crochet into the 3 stitches going down our shell, but again we're just going back loop only. So 1, another double crochet, back loop only, 2, and 3rd stitch, double crochet, back loop only, need some more yarn. Might need to put this on my yarn Genie. Okay, so that is our 2-row repeat. So we've got the shell and then we've got the bridge. So we're going to, in this single crochet down here, we're going to skip that and we're going to go 3 double crochets up to the top into this next shell. So back loop only, double crochet, 1, back loop only, double crochet, 2, back loop only, double crochet, so that's 3, and we're going to, because we're at the top of our shell, we're going to chain 1, which is the setup for the next row, and we're going to continue down our shell, back loop only, double crochet 1, oh, I'm feeling a little, there we go, double crochet, back loop only, 2, double crochet, back loop only, that's 3, and we're going to skip the single crochet that's here in the middle, and we're going to go 3 to the top of the next shell. So skip 1, go back loop only, double crochet, 1, back loop only, double crochet, 2, and back loop only, double crochet. Okay, we're at the top of our shell. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to work down into the back loop only of our shell. So 1, back loop only, double crochet, 2, and back loop only, double crochet, and we've got 1 stitch remaining on the end here, and so we're going to do a double crochet into that last stitch. So I'm going to find in my V, I'm going to dip up the, oh hang on, I've got an extra piece of gold there. There we go. And we'll do double crochet to finish our row. So you can see, I think you can see, that we've got that ridge happening on the front of our shells. We've got the bridge row, and we're going to go back and do our shell row. Excuse me. I'm liking the way this yarn is working up. Again, it's very squishable, and it translates into the work as well. Okay, so let's do the next row. Actually, I'm going to go and get my yarn Genie so that I can just pull this off. Hang on a second. Okay, don't mind the mess on the desk. I work in limited space, and this is my kitchen table. So So what I'm going to show you, this is my yarn Genie. So I bought this off someone from Facebook, from Western Australia. Not sure what the timber is, but it is beautiful. And here is how you use it. So it's just a little swivel at the top. So you're going to take this off. I'm going to place my yarn. I'm going to find the middle of my yarn. Place the stick into the middle. There we go. Attach it onto the hook. And that's just going to allow me to pull off my yarn without making a big mess and rolling all over the countryside. So that's what I have just attached my yarn to. So we'll get back down to the table and keep going with the next row. Okay, so we've just finished our bridge row. So we've got our shell row and we've got our back loop only, our little ridge sticking out from there. We've just done our bridge row. We're about to repeat the shell row. So we're going to do a chain of 1 and turn our work. And we're going to jump right over here into our chain 1 space, but we're not actually going to work into the space. We need to work into the stitch. If you work into the space, it pulls and it's a little bit weirdo. Nothing wrong with weirdo, but it does look a bit funny. So we're going to work into that back or the front loop of this stitch. So we're going to do 6 double crochets into that 1 stitch there. And I've just noticed, I know that's the end. Where did I notice it? I just noticed that, this might be a little bit of a yarn review, that polyester strand has actually snapped, and so it stopped pulling the yarn nice and tight. So I'm going to have to be careful here. Not sure why it would have broken, and I can't see anything else in the yarn. Maybe it's something that I did, not really sure. Okay, let's get on with our next, did I chain 1? Yes, I did. Okay, let's get on with the next row, shall we? So I'm going to chain of 1, turn our work, and we're going to do, 6 double crochets into the front loop of that chain 1 stitch that we did before. So I like to go through it and then go through the stitch, because then it gives me a distinct front loop only that I'm going to be working in. And we're going to do our 6 double crochets into that stitch. So 1, 2. Now I have been asked, why do you always have the pudding with the branding on the table? This isn't really, it's not really branding. It's the middle of my screen. And it's so I can try and keep my work in the right space. So 3, this is 4, just if you're wondering. 5, now we're getting into where that polyester strand is broken. Oh, and I can see that I've gone through a stitch there, so I'm going to have to be a little bit careful about how I'm working this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there we go, and then we've caught the strand back. We'll be fine from this point in. 6. Okay, now into this down here, we're actually going to do a single crochet. We're not going to go into the stitch, we're actually going to use the space this time. So we're going to do a single crochet at the bottom of our shells. Then we're going to skip over and we're going to find the front loop of this stitch here, of our chain that we did in between our 3s. And so we're going to find the front loop of that, tuck it under, and we're going to do 6 double crochets into that stitch. 1, oh, I took too many loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Going to skip over to our chain 1 space here, and we're going to do a single crochet into the space, And then we're going to do some 6 double crochets into the front loop of this stitch here. So yarn over, find that stitch, making sure you go through all those strands. Okay, and tuck it under. So we're going to do, I've got something caught there, there we go. 1, 2, 3. I can hear the ducks out the side of the shed again. Tap, tap, tap them where the drain is. So I have 7 ducks altogether. I've got 2 boys, 5 girls. I've got 1 duck on eggs and 1 duck who's just hatched 4 babies. They run around this morning, they're so cute. 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And then we're going to find that last stitch. So here it is here. And we're going to single crochet into that stitch. So that's our repeat. And of course this is the back because our ridging is on the front. That little step, that's so cute. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do our bridging row. We're going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet at the beginning. And then we're going to miss that first stitch here and we're going to double crochet up the side of our, oh, hang on, I did it last time too. Back loop only. I need to fix my, I didn't write it down properly. Well, actually I did. I did back loop double crochet. But I'm not reading my instructions, right? Okay, so we're going to do 3 back loop only double crochets up to the top of our shell. So don't be afraid to turn your work so you can see your V's. It makes it easier. So back loop only, we're going to do 1 double crochet. And into the next, we're going to do back loop only, another double crochet. Maybe. Okay, yep. And into the next stitch, back loop only, double crochet. We're at the top of our shell. We're going to chain 1. And we're going to do 3 double crochets down the other side of our shell. So back loop only, double crochet, next stitch, back loop only, double crochet, next stitch, back loop only, double crochet. So we are now at the bottom of our bridge, the bottom of our shell. We're going to skip the single crochet that we've got here in the middle. And we're going to go up the other side of our next shell. So yarn over, go into, so we're going to skip this stitch, we're going to go into the back loop only of the next stitch, double crochet, 1, back loop only, double crochet, up the shell, that's 2, next stitch, back loop only, double crochet, and that's 3. We're at the top, so we're going to chain 1. And we're going to work down the other side of our shell. So back loop only, double crochet, 1, back loop only, double crochet, 2, and the next stitch, back loop only, double crochet, 3. So that is now our second bridge over the top of our shell. We're going to skip our little stitch down here in the middle and we're going to go up the last shell. So back loop only, double crochet, 1, back loop only, double crochet into the next stitch, 2, back loop only, double crochet into the third stitch. We're at the top of our shell, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to come back down the other side. So back loop only, double crochet, 1, back loop only, double crochet, 2, back loop only, double crochet, 3, which takes us down to the other side of our shell, yarn over, find our V-stitch on the side here and double crochet into the last stitch. And so that is the finish of that repeat. So you can see there's a difference between the back, which is flat, and the front, which has the ridges on the top of each of the shell rows. Let's go up and do another one, shall we? So we're going to go back and we're going to do our shell row. If this was me, this is where I would complete this shell row, and this is where I would end it. As I said, it's got a lovely straight bottom. The sides are nice and straight, and the top of your blanket has the little bumpy shells as your border. But okay, so we're going to chain 1, turn our work. We're going to jump straight over here, and we're going to do 6 double crochets into not the space but the top of that stitch. So yarn over and into the top of that stitch. I'm going to do 6 double crochets into that same place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, and then down in here in the next chain space we're going to do a single crochet into that space. We're going to jump right over here to the next chain space, but we're going to work into the top of that stitch. So find it, and we're going to do our shell. So 6 double crochets into that stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little bit more yarn please, and 6, and a single crochet into the next space, and we're going to jump right over here and we're going to do 6 into the top of the next chain space, into the top of the stitch though, remember. So let's do 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I am going too fast, you can slow me down. There's a place in the settings on YouTube that you can slow it down. And again, if you're not sure how to do double crochets, I do have a how-to in my basic stitches playlist, so have a look at that. So that's 6, and now we're going to end. We're going to jump over here, we're going to find our stitch, and we're going to do a single crochet into the end. So that is how I would finish off my work. As I said, the bottom is nice and flat, the edges are nice and straight, and you have that lovely scallop along the top. So I'll put a picture of the finished product that of the blanket that I made for my daughter Caitlin, and I'm going to continue with this. That is going to be just a beautiful. So I'm thinking, I'm not sure what I'll do with it actually, but again, this yarn, and first time I've used it, it's Glitter Delight from Hobby, HOBBII.com. What's the colour of this called? Oh, they don't have colours, do they? It's colour number 5 if you're having a look on the website. But it's super squishy. That is just beautiful. I wish you had touch vision, touch. We've got touch screens, but you know what I mean. If you could feel that and feel how absolutely squishy that is, that's beautiful. All right, well, that's it for me today. Thank you for joining me on day number, what are we on to? Wednesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, day number 4, which is my favourite colour day. The only thing that's letting me down is my nails. They're normally purple. They are. However, I wore an outfit, and so I did my nails to match my outfit. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Yes, so purple is my favourite colour. If you're ever... Isn't that the saddest picture you've ever seen in your life? An empty coffee cup. Terrible. Okay. Sorry, I digress. Thank you very much for joining me today. We've got a couple more days to go. Tomorrow is Country or Western Day. Yeehaw! So we'll see how we go with that. I actually haven't got my pattern picked for tomorrow, so I'm going to have to go and do a little bit of research and a little bit of crochet to work out how to do it. What a shame. All right, thank you very much for joining me, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!